there's a quote that we really like, that when a flower doesn't bloom, you change the soil, not the flower. And that's really what we're working to build and change is our soil, our system. And we know that a key component of that is being data informed, again, at every level of the system.
Welcome back to Unlock 360, the podcast about leadership, teaching, and learning. I'm your host, Wendy York Davoud, and joining me today is my dear friend and a trusted partner, Marianna Vinson. Welcome.
Thank you.
Marianna, tell us a little bit about yourself and your work at Lemon Grove School District.
So I am currently the Interim Superintendent in Lemon Grove. I joined Lemon Grove 4 years ago in the middle of the pandemic as Executive Director of Educational Services, running our district's instructional programs, and have really been leading teaching and learning in the district for the last 4 years until recently stepping into the Interim Superintendent role.
Thank you. And what drives you to continue to develop and refine for your students in Lemon Grove?
I think it's just about doing good things for kids. You know, I became an educator to do for children what my teachers did for me. I'm the middle of 5 kids raised by a single mom, a first-generation Mexican-American. I see myself in the eyes of the children that we serve, and that's what drives me every day, you know, on the good days and on the hard days. It's why I get up in the mornings to do good for kids.
Yeah, I know. You have to have the passion. You have to have the passion to do the hard work that you do. So what was it like what was your first year at Lemon Grove like?
So the first year in Lemon Grove was challenging. I was hired in July of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. At the time, we had 6 of 7 new principals, 2 new cabinet members, one of which was myself. And we were doing distance learning. We were in the midst of COVID. Most of us didn't even see each other in person until towards the end of that 2020-21 school year. So it was challenging in every way you can imagine, starting in the summer, training teachers how to use Zoom to do distance learning, all while building internal capacity, relationships with brand new principals. It was hard in every sense of the word. It was hard.
Yeah. You know, I was just talking with a leader the other day from a different district who was saying, you know, it kind of feels like we're just now over that hump. I mean, and she's like, I was thinking about it and just kind of recalling all of that. And of course, in your role, there were other nuances because you know, you were new to your position and to the district, but she's like, I don't know how I did that. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes true when you are in a hard situation. Sometimes you don't see the end, but then you get through it, as we all do. And you look back and think, oh, I can do hard things. We can do hard things.
That is one of our favorite sayings. Yes. Yes. Good point. What does equity mean to you, Marianna?
Yeah, I think equity happens at the student's desk. I think equity is about ensuring that every student has the opportunities that they deserve, right? That demographics do not determine destiny. And that's what we're committed to in Lemon Grove. And over the last 4 years, we've had some good success with that. We've been able to basically close the achievement gap with our African American students, particularly in reading, and we're nearly there in mathematics. Actually, last year, our African American student population outperformed all students.
That's so exciting.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Our students are demonstrating their genius in many ways. And so I think equity is about, again, you know, ensuring that every student has an intentional plan of supports to ensure that they can be and accomplish anything they want to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beautifully stated. Thank you. Remember to check out the description below to learn more about Lemon Grove School District, Marianna Vinson, and LTL 360. How do you empower your teachers to improve their practices?
That's been so important to us from the beginning. We're very much ascribed to John Hattie's work around teacher collective efficacy. It's something we believe to our core of core to be true in terms of the data and the outcomes that we're seeing and the importance of building teacher collective efficacy. So what that looks like for us in practice on a daily and annual basis, we have embedded teacher collaboration time. So teachers have 2.5 hours every 3 weeks to collaborate and work together on problems in practice. They're analyzing data. They're coming together to look at student work. They're celebrating success, which we know is so important to keep us focused on the small wins that eventually materialize into those larger successes.
Yeah.
And so teacher collective efficacy, teacher collective learning is just a part of who we are.
Yeah, and it's so powerful. We know that gets when it's done, when teachers get really good at developing that and learning from each other and refining their practices and knowing where the kids start from and all of those pieces, that's how you close the gap. And it's great to see that you're getting some of those results in your data.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm so grateful to the work we did with Lead, Teach, Learn from the very beginning in July of 2020 when I started in the district. Because it was something that we were not yet proficient at. So the Lead, Teach, Learn team was essential at helping us deeply understand what collective efficacy looked like, the role of teachers in a team, how to look at data in a way that was truly meaningful for teachers in the classroom that could apply that to their practice. And so I know we would not be as far as we are had we not partnered with Lead, Teach, Learn back then and maintained that partnership throughout our time together.
You're welcome. As they tell me in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, it is absolutely our pleasure to have had the opportunity to serve in that way. They tell you that at Chick-fil-A too. I was just recently reflecting on, in fact, I was talking with, it was so recent, it was last night, talking to Aaron about some of the things that I've learned since my experience as a classroom teacher and how sometimes I almost want to go back and try it now and see what would happen. But one of those pieces was around what you said about how teachers learn to look at data to inform their practices, and just remembering that, no one taught me that per se. And when I say that, I guess I'm thinking of data in student work products and how to really analyze those in a way that's meaningful to inform, best first instruction or tier 2, and is so powerful. And so often teachers really don't even have, they just don't have that skill set and it's just so powerful. Instead, it's here's the answer key or here's, and it's just about scoring and then passing it back or giving feedback. But it's not okay, wait, what is this really telling me that my kids can do? And where are they struggling and how do I respond?
So we have continued the work of supporting teachers and looking at student work. And what they've gotten really good at is analyzing students' thinking, right? Identifying when a student is not answering a question correctly. We've been doing a lot of this work in mathematics, actually, with cognitively guided instruction. And they're looking at when a student answers a question incorrectly, why is that? And what was that student's thought process? And then how do we begin to support that thought process in order to get that right answer? Or what are the many ways that a student can develop a correct answer to a math problem? And so we've gotten a whole lot better at analyzing students' thinking by looking at student work.
Yeah, that's really good. And you reminded me of an experience that I had once that what's one of those I'll never forget it moments where a team of 11th grade math teachers were coming to the table to look at student work. And so large comprehensive high school, 11th grade integrated math 3 was the course that their students were taking. And so they come, I think I want to say 7, 8 teachers. So I might forget, I may have forgotten some of the minor details, but they come to the table. Each one has, 180 student work samples, potentially, depending on, how many periods they were teaching of that particular course. And it's like, where do we start? And so kind of guiding them through that cognitive piece of like really identifying what was the thinking, where are those, where are their strengths, where are they maybe getting off track, and what might be going wrong. We noticed that, and this is going to be an estimate, but I want to say about 30, something really like, wow, like 30 out of 180 in one stack had all sorts of work, and then they erased it, and then they turned it in. And it didn't jump out to the team at first. And so really kind of helping people like open up to what are you really seeing, and keep an open mind, because that could be telling. It could be telling us that they're not confident. They did all this work, but they didn't feel like they got to the solution. And so they don't want to show what they did because they don't want to be wrong. There's just so many things. So what role does data play in improving the practices in Lemon Grove?
Data plays a role at every level of our system of ensuring we're on track and telling us where we might need to pivot or shift direction or identify groups that might need additional support. And there's a quote that we really like, that when a flower doesn't bloom, you change the soil, not the flower. And that's really what we're working to build and change, is our soil, our system. And we know that a key component of that is being data informed, again, at every level of the system. So at the district level, we have, both state and local assessment data that we look at regularly to inform our practice. We have a 5-year strategic plan that was actually birthed out of all of that challenge through COVID and all of that newness of staff. We came out of that stronger with a clear mission and vision driven by our strategic plan. And based off the data, we knew particularly the groups of students that our system had not historically served well. And so for us, those were our African American students, our students with IEPs, and our multilingual learners. And so we've committed to ensuring that we're monitoring not just district-wide data for all children, but how are we doing in terms of closing those equity and opportunity gaps for all of our kids, but especially those 3 that our system, the soil was not serving well. And so that's been important to us to do that work at the district level, both as a district management team and with our school principals. Our school site leaders work with what we call our MTSS teams. So it was, again, a system that we developed since COVID, where each site has, in essence, an instructional leadership team, what we call an MTSS, multi-tiered system of support team. And they are regularly analyzing data. Another commitment we have as an organization is a commitment to the whole child, right? Because in order to ensure that our students are making that academic progress, we also need to know that whole child has been provided the supports that they need. And especially coming out of COVID, we had an intense focus on social emotional learning. And so we've done an SEL survey with our students, a pre and a post every year for the last 4 years. So again, you've got that historical data that we're looking at year over year. How is our system serving our students? Where are we making progress? Where do we need to pivot? And so that data analysis cascades down from the district to the site and then to the classroom through our teacher collaboration time. So it's been essential. It's always a work in progress. There are always things we can do better. But that's part of the continuous improvement process, right? Constant tweaking for the purpose of ensuring that we are serving the students in front of us.
If there was one thing you could change in education, what would it be?
The whirlwind, what I call the whirlwind, it's all the things that take our attention away from teaching and learning in the classroom. You know, as a school principal, as a site leader, as a classroom teacher, whether it's, you know, the rains that, you know, bring flooding to the file cabinet that's not locking, and the 3 times you had to submit a work order to get that done, and the just the sometimes the daily frustrations that people feel in the operations of running a large system, right? A bureaucracy, and running a bureaucracy that create unintentional impediments to staff that are trying to do good and right by kids. And so I think all of those little things end up adding up, both again for classroom teachers and for principals, and take our attention away from teaching and learning because we're busy handling, you know, the physical campus or managing, you know, the day-to-day operations of running a school. So it's hard. It's hard to stay balanced. It's hard to stay focused on teaching and learning when you've got, you know, again, what I call the whirlwind going on around you. So it's always a challenge as a district and a site leader to pause and stay focused on what really matters and is going to make an impact for kids on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. It's so very true. And it's at every level. It's in the classroom, it's in the school building, it's, you know, across the district. There's the whirlwind again. Yeah. What are you looking forward to next in Lemon Grove?
Well, I hope to become the permanent superintendent, but we'll see how that plays out. I'm currently in the interim role.
We are rooting for you.
Thank you.
Your passion, your heart, it's unparalleled, and you know, your expertise is likewise. And you've got us in your corner. We wish you the very best.
I super appreciate that. There are so many great things happening in Lemon Grove. You know, we're a small community in San Diego County. I can get from, you know, one school to another in 5 minutes, you know, and so it's this small, tight-knit, family-oriented group, both between and collaboration between the city and the school district, of just working to transform a community to do good and right for the people and the citizens and the children that live here. And so there's an energy and an excitement and a spirit of hope. Yes, all of that grounded in a tremendous amount of hard work and definitely some mountains we need to climb to get to the end goal. But I'm hopeful for what we can accomplish, you know, together. And so I think that's what I'm most looking forward to, is the possibilities of what we can continue to do for kids.
You know, I think what's exciting is that you've already seen some results in closing the gap, because that success breeds success and really helps you with momentum.
Yeah, I have to give kudos to our teaching force. You know, we have an incredible group of talented, hardworking teachers that come to work each and every day, committed to do, again, good and right for our children. And we've shifted quite a bit of instructional practice over the last 4 years. We've got a clear instructional focus on universally designed, rigorous grade level instruction, grounded and culturally responsive pedagogy. And we've been building capacity around those elements, and they've been on board with us every step of the way. And I am so grateful to them for being that partner, for being willing, and their hard work is what we see, you know, in those changed and improved achievement scores.
It matters. It matters. And we see it too. So just, you know, as an outside provider, you know, outside perspective in working with Lemon Grove and supporting that development of, you know, collective teacher efficacy across the district, we saw it too. They really are committed to what matters most for students.
And I have to give a shout out too to my school site leaders, because we know, strong leadership is at the center of this work, and they are a talented group of equity-minded leaders that are willing to do the hard work of change. And I am grateful to them also for all that they do.
Yeah, absolutely. It matters at all levels that people are clear, they're committed, they're collaborating, and you're holding one another accountable. Marianna, is there anything else that you'd like to share about yourself or your background, or where the district is going, your hopes for students, just anything else that may be on your mind that you'd like to share with the world?
I think what I would like to share is none of us do this work alone. We need strong partners along the way. The work is hard, and so it's important for us as leaders to ensure that we're doing our best to try to take care of ourselves in order to pour into our staff so they can pour into our students and families. And again, just super grateful for the partnership that Lead, Teach, Learn has been to me personally and to us as a system in helping to build the strength of our system over the last 4 years. And so I think, just the partnership is so important that, we lean on each other to do this work because it can be very challenging at times, both personally and professionally.
Marianna, thank you so much for joining us today on Unlock 360. It was a pleasure to see you, and as always, to thought partner and just talk with you. Take care of yourself. For our listeners, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, or subscribe, and check out the links in the description below to learn more about the work at Lemon Grove School District or the work of LTL 360.